Welcome back to the Lindsay Sisters podcast. So, on this segment, we are going to talk about are women who are high earning women less attractive? And so, I saw a clip on Facebook from a podcast called Hardly Initiated. And it basically was this guy, he was saying that this woman was telling him, like, she has a great job, she makes good money, and so now all she needed was a man. And so his response basically said, is because of those things, she is now disqualified from the dating world, or even being picked as someone who could be a significant other to somebody. So I went and I looked to find this video on their YouTube channel. They had quite some videos on there. I did not see the title that was on the Facebook clip. So I wasn't able to go pull up the entire video and watch it because I understand sometimes with clips, you can misconstrue the message or you didn't hear the whole thing because they just gave that little segment. So I guess if y'all want to find it, like I said, their podcast is called Hardly Initiated. It is on YouTube. So my thoughts on this with men, and I'm just going to focus this mostly in the black sector of men. A lot of podcasts that I've seen kind of talk about these topics with women. It's always black men saying this against black women. But when you look at women in the world that go and bust their tail to get through school, they get a job, they work hard to climb up the ladder to be able to be financially stable, right? Because that's a lot of people's end goal is to become financially stable because nobody, I don't care who you are, nobody likes living in poverty. And I just feel that to me, the topic in itself, because I've seen it several times on several different platforms, and it's mostly men, I see it where they're talking about a particular type of woman. So it's on one hand, if this woman doesn't have any money, she's not financially stable, she's spiritually broken, she is deemed as a person that, oh, okay, you're too dependent, right? You're too dependent. So to me, you don't bring nothing to the table because we hear that topic, that conversation come up. What does the woman bring to the table versus what does a man bring to the table? And then vice versa, because you have your women doing that too. Like they don't want somebody to come to the table empty handed. You need to bring something. So basically it's like, okay, she's good looking, but she don't bring nothing to the table, so I can't pick her. Whereas you have a woman, she could be all of that, right? Or she's the one, she's good looking, she's well educated, she's financially stable, she has a great mindset, those types of things. But it's like if she has even two of the four, not the good look, let's take that out of there. So let's say highly educated and financially stable, she can stand on her own 2 feet. She is deemed not acceptable. Like, oh, I got to skip over you. To me, I feel like, in a sense, it comes off as is it intimidation? Because you say if they have nothing, they're not good enough. But if they have something, they're also not good enough. So the question would be, what do you want the woman to be? Do you want her to be with nothing and depend on you for everything, even financially? Because that's mostly what it is. Although a relationship does not consist of just financial stability, there is more to the relationship than the amount of money that either party will make. But somehow it always reverts back to the finances. I think that that is where we have to stop putting so much emphasis on what a woman should do with her life, especially if it's a career goal. You have some people who can overlook it, right? I believe is it Tamara? It might be Tia. I think it's Tamara. Yeah, I think it's Tamara. She is married to a black guy, and she met this guy at the bus stop. He ain't have nothing. He was trying to pursue acting. Here was Tia. I'm sorry, Tamara. She was financially stable. Well, obviously, she started out on Disney and worked her way up, whatever. There was a difference in that, and a lot of people frowned upon it. Well, he didn't have anything. Why would she want to go get with the broke guy? Again, so we can't build people up. We can't, one can't be financially stable and the other not. I just feel that we put too much emphasis on what women are able to do. I understand that this is a male dominant world that we live in. I understand that. But we have to also decide, do you want the woman to do absolutely nothing? Or do you want her to do something? Because there's no in between. So that's what I keep on seeing over and over again is if she's too successful and she's this age, or if she already has the child and she's successful, it's still that makes it even more problematic. I get that part when there's a child involved and you're talking about some guy coming in and it's not his seed. That's a different story. But if she is a single woman, she is independent, I'm sorry, financially stable, why is she deemed less attractive? I don't understand that. But I want Jasmine, I mean, you're the other woman on here, so I want to hear what you guys say.
The things we talk about before we hit record. um, I get what you're saying, and it makes sense. Like again, before we hit record, I asked the men on this podcast that same question, like because I genuinely didn't understand. Um, the things that Carlos said, and I'm sure he'll get into when he starts talking, it made sense. He got into that power struggle thing. Some women have an issue with still being able to be a woman and understanding what being a woman is while still being successful or what this society deems as successful. Um, for some women who make a lot of money, even if the men in her life make a lot of money, I've seen with my own eyes sometimes that she's still not able to allow him to be the man. I get that. So I can get why a man would say that only under those type of circumstances though. Anything outside of that, I really don't understand what the problem is, because when I first looked at the situation, I felt like if we're both mature adults and you're making money and I'm making money, what exactly is the problem? But it goes deeper than just the money aspect of it. Again, like Carlos was saying, some women are not approachable. Once they hit a certain tax bracket, it's like she becomes a monster of some sort, and a man cannot gauge her for his liking. And when I say that, I mean in the sense of like her being a woman that could still stand on her own 2 feet and be able to um, still be a woman and treat him as a man. And again, I get that part. Outside of that, though, I don't know. However, I'm really interested in hearing what the two men on this podcast got to say about this.
All right, all right, all right. So I heard both of y'all, and one thing I'm gonna say is this: for me, I'm not against a successful woman. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna promote whatever you're doing. I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna like it. I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna put it in my story every day, over and over again, until it is what it is. I'm raising daughters who will be women, so I want them to be successful in their own right. I feel like if we together and we in the same household and we got a team aspect, I don't expect the same thing. So if I make more money than you, and I say I buy you a Range Rover, and you make $50,000, you're probably not going to be able to just buy me a Range Rover. So I'm not expecting um, for the gifts to be the same, but I'm expecting the energy to be the same. So if you can't buy me anything, if you know I like something that you cook, then cook that for me. If you a woman that's gonna stay at home, I'm cool with that. I don't have a problem making the money, but what are you doing for the household? I mean, these kids, you getting their hair done, you make sure they homework straight. Like, take the burden off of me some, and I'm good with that. You can have whatever the hell you want. But see, for me, I don't understand the energy of men don't like successful women or women that make money, because again, if we're on the same team and we building this empire together, we about to go get this shit up. I mean, this stuff out the mud. You feel me? So again, for me personally, I have no problem with a woman making more money than me, making the same amount or making less than me, and I'm not going to judge her based off of what her financial status is. Why? Because one thing we should have learned over the last couple of years is nothing is set in stone when it comes to finances. There have been billionaires who've been complaining about them losing money due to the pandemic. I mean, McDonald's had lost money. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's lost some sort of money or income because of COVID.
So then it leads me to ask the question: is why is everybody so uh, dependent on the financial
Change.
aspect of it?
But that's what I have. What you got to say, Carlos?
What you just say, Jazz? Go ahead and answer that. Ask that again.
I was saying, Ron, you had cut out, so I don't think. I think
Because
you might
Ron,
still be
yeah, he
talking.
didn't finish. But then, Ron, can you the last part you were saying? That little part went out, and then Jazz follow up with that. You can put Ron back up there.
Can you hear us?
Go.
Was that for me, y'all?
Yeah,
Yeah,
repeat
you
that
had cut
what you
out.
said at the end.
Oh, my bad. No, so the last part of that was just simply, again, if we both pull on our weight and we have an agreement, like I've been married before, and there was a point in time we both were working after kids,
You're
$200
cutting out a little bit, Ron. So go ahead, Carlos,
a
just
week.
take over. Take over.
Jazz, what was that question you asked?
So he has said something about people losing money during the pandemic, and basically understanding that within the last couple of years with the pandemic, you know, it should have taught us some things as people about the financial aspect. So my question is, well, in that case, then wouldn't it be safe to say, why are we putting so much emphasis on the financial aspect of the whole what do we bring to the table thing? Like, if that's the case, why are we still talking about highly successful women being less attractive if we need to be looking deeper and looking at more things other than the financial aspect of it? Because I mean, if we keep it all the way real and we want to talk about current events, I mean, if we really look around, ain't nobody doing as well as they was doing in 2018.
Facts. Facts.
That was
Facts.
what I was saying.
You got a great point, and all of y'all point was great. Questions being asked or whatnot. But my thing is this. First of all, like just to like address it from my point of view with when it comes to that, because it's mostly speaking about black women. And again, what I've noticed is that this is something that our people has not been used to. And so I don't think it's necessarily that it's a problem with or men are intimidated about a woman of highly success being a highly success, but it's more so that sorry about that, more so that um the the roles changing or whatnot, or the woman being taking on a certain role, and again, it's taken away from the household or whatnot. Sometimes is more so, what is her, if she's that, and if she is that highly successful person, um, how could the way the system is set up for the woman, it's like where it goes into a pride situation where it becomes prideful and more of a boastful or flashy thing, because some men with those type with their highly successful, they're like that. So it's like more like a monkey see monkey do thing. And I don't mean to put it in those terms, but let's just be real. Okay, you speaking upon women's rights and or just women finally being successful in that sense, coming from that area. But let's be realistic. It wasn't the black man that was keeping the women down like that. Like, it was a system. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't just working just, for as the domination of, for as being domineering. Of course, it shows a certain particular men that were domineering. But let's see who's actually is this domineering force that has held the woman from being in that position. Our women, preferably, like what I would like to say. Um, it hasn't been our people. So I can't just pin it and say, okay, well, black men are intimidated. It's more like a power struggle where we're wrestling back and forth with who's going to do this, who's going to do that, or I'm over you, or or I'm over you, and it just becomes a big problem. And in this case, just say if you have a family or you want a family, how can that family be balanced out? How can it be a great relationship when you're both struggling for power based on materialistic things or money? That's why you notice in the Bible space it speaks like for the love of money is the root to all evil. When you climb the successful chart, the closer you get to success, the more wicked it gets. And so you have to be very careful when a woman taking on those those type of tasks in her life, where she's you know overly, were mostly successful than a man, and she feels like she has dominion over that man. And yeah, it becomes an intimidation because it's like, what do I need a man for other than this? So a lot of women like that are alone unless, and they can say that they don't have standards on the men that they picking, because what it all boils down to, what particular man that she's talking about that she cannot compete with, that she cannot attract, because there's men out here that would take her. That may be of lower financial status. Would she take him? I like to piggyback on that part when you spoke about Tia Maury. I think that's her name. One of the twins.
Tamara.
Tamara,
Tamara.
Tamara, or Tia.
That's
So let me
Tamara.
just say this:
Yeah.
huh? Am I speaking about
It was,
her? Okay. All right.
yeah,
So
Tamara. It was Tamara.
well, let's be realistic. Her mother is black. Her father is white. Technically, she's considered white because
Well,
we are of our father's descent. So I'm not making that the thing, but that's what it was. I would rather you use like someone like Fantasia, who's black, and her husband was in prison. Fantasia was very successful. Look at their relationship. Look at the roles they play. You know what I'm saying?
I had to
Look at
kind of disagree on
yeah,
that part of success because actually, not long after American Idol is when you saw the financial woes. I mean, you had somebody like Simon Cowell who had to come save her home because I mean, I don't know what she did with her finances, but she messed her finances up to where she had to have the same person whose show she was on had to come in and pick her back up because Fantasia actually went down. She didn't
right,
She
go up
lost
the
almost
stage.
everything.
Yes.
right.
She lost
But
almost
it was
everything from taking care
but
of her family and stuff.
exactly. But
You
it
know.
wasn't because of her husband, and
Well,
she was still rich. She still have stats. She still have clout. She still have her
She had
name.
the stature, but she didn't have the financial backing. She didn't have that. Fantasia was broke. She was
right.
broke not long
I
after her
understand that,
career
but
took off. She was
I
broke.
I,
think
I
I think what
understand that.
Carlos is trying to say, like to help Carlos out here, what I think he's trying to say is like just the taking away from getting back to where things used to be, where the household was taken care of, and now we have this battle of the sexes, so to speak, because that's what it feels like on the internet. We talk about Kevin Sims, we talk about different people and situations where women are attacked or men are attacked, and like I've told y'all before in previous videos or conversations, women, the platforms have always catered to y'all. You know what I'm saying? Now we have somebody that's kind of catering towards us. That's what I look at Kevin Samuels as that. But like, I don't feel like a woman working is going to take away from the house. I don't feel
No,
like it's going to cause a strain on a relationship either. I don't think that's what Carlos is saying. But I
no.
think what he's saying is the fact that all this competition and this almost like this spirit of rebellion that's been put upon the people. So women,
It,
you
it,
don't
it,
need
and
a
it
man. You don't need a man. Go ahead.
right. And I thank you, Ron. That's exactly what I'm saying. It is that. And I'm gonna tell you the thing that I noticed. because black men has not been successful. Yeah, you have a lot of successful individuals who do for themselves. But when I'm talking about a broad of black men, like Black Wall Street, that was destroyed. Go back and research how they operated. What was when they were successful? How do they operate? But of course, it got burned down so long ago. But let's talk about the broad. When I mean broad wealth, I'm talking about like other nationalities. That it seems like it's a problem when they know that the black man is coming back up. Now is we've been holding our women back. We got a problem with our successful women. We're intimidated by our successful women. No, we just see what money does to people. Money make people wicked as hell, man. It
Well, I
changes their
get that part,
mentality,
Carla.
and especially
But
when a
the
woman
thing
who's
is
not
I
strong.
get
Hear what I'm saying. When a woman is not strong enough in that area, what happens? She can't see the blow because she's more driven by the outward sense. A man is more the black man, like the man, us. We're more on what we see intellect. We can see the bottom of the barrel before we even approach it. A woman, she look at it from our senses. So what happens? She's only caught up in the success of it when we can see the failure that comes after that because we have either experienced it or we can see it ahead of time of other men have experienced and we've seen that. So it takes on a character where if a woman feels like, okay, I got this, I'm already the keeper of the home. She already managed the home. The children gonna listen to her and follow her. And then she takes over the financing part. This is how a man looking at it. Okay, then what am I here for? So I'm not saying that's always the case, but if it's a woman that is very successful and she's humble, like Ron was saying, and could still considers me, still concerned, like care about what I like, what I want, and stuff, willing to support and be there like that. That's different. But these women are taking on, and I like I said on my social media, I see these successful women, and they take on a bold standpoint as if they're angry being in that position. Who wants to approach a woman like that? I mean, shit, she makes herself unapproachable by her demeanor, how she's coming
okay.
off.
Yeah,
We
She's
have
too
yeah.
we
It
damn
becomes
masculine.
the it becomes
Too damn
that
masculine.
boss bitch mentality. Like you
Yeah,
better than the
yeah.
man, and you know.
Too
And
damn
there's
black.
women that say they won't date a man that'll make less money than them. And I think that's where the division comes in. That because if you never hear a man say he won't date a woman that makes less money than him.
Facts.
Plenty of times in history you
They
see
take them
that.
all the
But
time.
women say, "Oh well, I won't date a man that makes less money than me." And so
Exactly.
then that's where the division comes in at with that. So I feel like we're in agreement on
Or
this, and
she'll
this is
call
where
it
this is
feminine.
what he's saying. Yeah, because it's like we're looked at as less
I'm
than. We're
telling
looked
you.
at as if it's not good enough, as damaged goods, because we might not like. Let's just say prime example. Josh, say you make $100,000 a year, and I make 90, and you're like, well, you make $10,000 less than me, so I can't rock with you. And let's be more realistic. Like, say a man makes 50 grand, 45, $50,000 a year, and you make 100 grand. IKEA and Jazz, this is a question for y'all. Would y'all date a man that made less money than you?
to
Yes,
yeah,
I
because
would.
it's not about how much you're making at this particular point. My focus is, what are you focused on other than the right now? Where are you thinking long term? See, that's the difference why women are more understanding than quote unquote man when it comes to that, is because you do have more women accepting of men who make less than them. Look at what's going on right now. You got women going to work, the guys at home playing PlayStation. If that's not
That ain't
understand,
no damn man. That's a
But
boy.
I know,
but
but I'm
That's a
no,
saying
that,
damn
think
right,
boy.
and that's what I was going to say.
You gotta
But
separate the
but think
boys
about it.
from
You
the
got
men
guys
now.
like
no, no,
you
I'm
got
saying an
different, and that's
example.
the
Hear me
thing. You
out. Hear
got
me out. Hear me out.
okay.
What I'm saying is this. I'm saying women are more understanding to those who make less versus the guy, because if a real woman is this, I'm gonna tell you that yes. See, again, you cannot box them all together. If you have a end goal, or what are you trying to do with your life, not just financially, but wholeheartedly, like everything as a whole. If you're showing me, I'm hearing what you're saying, you're telling me you have a plan and you're working on, I'm seeing you put forth the effort. Of course, I'll have patience for that. Of course, I'm gonna be understanding to that. But now, if you're showing me a year, you come in now and you're saying, this is my plan, this is my goal, this is what I want to do, and then 2, 3 years go by and you're still standing in the same spot, of course I'm gonna, no, we gotta pull the fucking chairs back
No,
up to the table, because now we gotta explain something, because this is not what you said. See, if you're gonna build, if we're
but
gonna build together, we got to be on the same accord with that. I'm not gonna
right,
knock you because I might, because some people go in, some people can, it might be very rare, but you have some jobs where you get the job, you are surpassing the average fucking earner in America. Your job
right.
might equal to 100,000
But you,
starting out. So of course you're
But
already going to be ahead. You see what I'm
but
saying?
but see but see what I'm saying is, I hear you and I agree with that. You should be trying to grow, but like you said, it's certain jobs where, like you said, if a driver, first perspective, a professional commercial driver, they're going to make more than most people with college bachelor's degrees. I mean, that's just proven facts. And you don't ever have to get a promotion and you'll be straight. But what I'm saying is this, where we talk about, like, where you said the guy at home playing the game, and Carlos said that's a boy and not a man. I'm in total agreement with both of y'all on that. And see, this is the problem within our community right now. A lot of people, working men, and Kevin Samuel said this. He said it's fucked up because a lot of men is making $50,000 a year, $60,000 a year, are being overlooked because, you might have a drug dealer that, and this is the thing, the drug dealers that I know, these current day ones, I ain't talking about the old school ones, but I'm talking about these current day cats. They're only making 50, 60 grand. They're just getting it faster than it takes me to get it 2 weeks. You see what I'm saying? And so, again, that's what's chosen though. You want the street dude, you want the thug, you want that, and then you done had babies by this dude, you done been used, abused, and you got all these problems, and now you want a good man to go to work and clock in and clock out. And then the thing is, we've been bashed all your 20s. We was bashed in your early 30s. And then now, oh, wait a minute, I need some stability. When the whole time you could have had stability. It goes back to what we said in the previous
But
video
that was that
about properly
codependency
vetting.
stuff right there. And the
Huh?
trauma. That was that codependency and not paying attention,
Right.
and that unprocessed trauma. That's where that
Yeah.
stuff
And that's what I'm
comes from.
saying. So I feel like that all ties into, where it is now, because a lot of men are just fed up. And a lot of men are fed up. Why? Because you damned if you do, you damned if you don't. You know what I'm saying? Men have for far too long been called the walk away parents, the ones that don't give a damn. And there's plenty of single fathers out here raising their children on their own, living in the home. The mom's nowhere around. I'm
facts.
one of them.
I
Now,
have. I.
go
I'm
ahead.
gonna chime in right there. I was a everyday father. I did everything: cook, clean, still took care of my children. I'm still looked at as I did a poor job. See, I just women have a very poor choice because not all, but some, well, who they call it men. You gotta separate the boys from the men. Okay, a lot of women don't know what a man is because they never even. If you really never had a great father in your life, you won't know how to pick a man. You would just go about of trying to groom and make
Same for
that
the
man be
man.
what you
Same
want.
for the man. If he didn't
You
have
want
his
to make.
daddy or a male
Oh yeah,
respective
can
role
I?
model,
I'm just trying to
same,
make an overall. I'm not gonna lead the
same.
woman. I get that part, but you gotta let me make my overall point. What I'm saying is that the women, they pick these men and they try these young men and try to make them out to be the man they want them to be. As in, when a man even dealt with a woman, it's just like what they say: you can't turn a whore into a housewife. Same thing. It's just in a different point,
You
My
preaching.
point is, so my point is that you have to look at where people backgrounds, where they come from. Did she grow up in a home where her father was, a father, a provider, or whatnot? If she didn't grow up under that, she's gonna be trying to make that, and then you get mad and upset. What the hell you taking 3 years for to let him prove himself? If he improved
Bro.
himself in 6 months to a year, you a damn fool to sit there
Yeah,
and watch it.
that's why.
But,
That's
bro,
why.
some of them.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ron. I didn't mean to
I'm
do that.
sorry.
But
My bad.
what I
My
was
bad.
trying to tell you was That's why I said, yes, I can accept you making less than me. If I'm making more than you, if you, first of all, you have to come to the table, already know what your plan is. And my question, I'm very frank on it. Where do you see yourself? What do you wish to accomplish? And then if you tell me this is what you want to be, or you tell me you want financial stability, you want to be able to take care of A, B, C, D through Z, whatever. The next question is, how do you plan to do it? So that is me asking you your plan of
But you're
action.
not. But
So
if
if
you're
the
dealing, if
first
you're
thing,
not
I
dealing with
know
a
what I'm
man,
saying, but the first thing, if
how
you
can you
tell me is
expect
you don't know, then
you?
we
You
probably ain't gonna go nowhere anyway.
you could probably know the characteristics of what that person is going to do from day one you get with them. See, a lot, like I'm gonna
But
go
I'm
back to this.
saying before the relationship, you gotta
Women are
have
driven
those
by outward sense. You know
conversations.
why? Let me tell you this. Women are driven by outward sense because not only are they biased about financial status, they biased about a man, the way the man's look. A lot of women get screwed over based on the types they pick. Oh, I want the six
Exactly.
pack.
I don't
I
have a
want the
type.
six pack.
I don't have a type.
I want the hair. Hold on, wait. Let me finish. I want the six pack. I want the physique. I want the light skin or the dark skin. I want the hair, whatever, or no hair. And when you
Bro.
pick men on typical point of views, like you pick them on typical choices, you get that. You haven't checked out the pedigree. You haven't seen what the ethics. I mean, the work ethics were. The evidence in what he could be that. He's supposed to be able already be that, not you giving him time to be that. You know what I'm
But
saying?
okay, but
Hey,
realistically
the first
speaking,
couple in history.
everybody's not going to be fully packaged. Some people are working on wrapping
No, that's
themselves in
dysfunctional,
package.
and that's
But
why if they like
again,
that,
I
then you don't
know,
waste
but
your
we're being
time. And
we're black
but
people.
how
We
has
don't
that
have
worked?
a red carpet. We have to make our own red carpet
I know, but how has
financially.
that worked?
So
How
we
has
have
that
to
worked
work
for us?
harder.
It damaged people. It's dysfunctional backgrounds, dysfunctional people coming together trying to repair each other. That shit never works like that.
Okay, but
People
you're
have to
making it
have.
like there's a such thing as a perfectionist guy or woman that exists in the black community. It doesn't. We all come with something. There's no one going to come to
We
the
do.
table fully
I
equipped with everything.
I
Unless
understand,
this nigga is on
but
his deathbed, been here
you
100
cannot go off
years.
a typical. But you going off six packs and rip chests
I
and all
won't
that.
go off of that.
I
I'm not
mean,
even
and
in
that
that
nigga
structure
fight.
of a
Hey, that
box.
nigga be fighting more demons than Satan himself. And you think he's gonna change? Fuck no. Cause you steady, but you holding him there. You that's a form of codependency. You holding him there because the fact you don't want to be alone and you don't want to lose because I got this nice looking whatever, and that's it. But it opposed to this man here who may not have that kind of body, but he can build, he can help you, he can build with you, he can not only that, he can provide as well. He's willing to communicate all of that.
But
And you
again, that goes
pass
because that
him
goes out. It
because
goes
he's
out.
not your
It's we're not
type.
because we're
He's
not
not your
speaking of
type. A lot of these women in
codependency
this
in this
relationship because
situation.
he's not that outward
We're
sense.
generally speaking on the you're
I
making
guarantee
a
you,
certain amount of money.
I know, but
Okay,
I
so we
guarantee
get
you those women
that
that
was
are like that,
done.
I guarantee you those
But
women
we're
that are like
okay.
that, those women that are single like that now, and I'm gonna go ahead and let somebody talk. I guarantee you, most of those women that are single like that now, be right now, and I guarantee they done turned down so many men making less money, or ain't they tight for its physical, okay? I guarantee they done turned them down for that they want to fit their description, which is six figures, six pack, and 6 feet tall.
But
I
those aren't the
guarantee you.
women that I'm discussing now, because half of those
I'm
women
just
that
saying
we're
you have
talking
to
about
factor
that
them
go
in.
off of, I
If
know
we if
that's
we
a one particular range of women out of the whole entire range of women. I'm not speaking on them because first of all, them again, the same
we
way
need to
how
ask them
you
where they
say
at.
the man, well, you might not be looking in the right places because men look in the wrong direction too. Let's keep it real. There is no perfect gender.
Always.
They both are
Always.
wrong both
But we're
sides.
talking
But what
about why.
I'm saying
But the topic is what? Why don't we find women like
No,
that
I'm
attractive because
talking, but
they're
again,
looking for
women
a
who
particular.
look, but women who are going off and he gotta have a 6-pack, he need to be 6'9", he need to
They may
be.
not say it
Those are
verbally.
not high paying
I know,
women
but they,
anyway.
oh, well,
Majority
that's
of
what
them
you
are
say.
strippers,
That's
cashiers,
for that's your
and
point of
working
view.
ass
But
women.
doesn't mean that they're not mentally
I
addressing the
didn't say
situation
that.
like that.
I'm
They may
saying
not
that
verbally express it, but
you're
mentally,
missing
that's
my
how
point,
they think.
Simon.
And so when men are approaching them, they looking over them. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Those
What I'm
type of women you're talking about.
No, the
I'm
women
telling
that
you.
you're saying, what I was trying to say is this. The women that you are talking about that go off of this body type, that's the only thing that catches their eye and is going to get them to pull up a chair to the table. Those are most of those women are
When a
high
woman,
school dropout. Let me make my point. Those women are high school dropouts, don't have no college education, don't have a desire to get any more education. They are the people who, what you would say, are just surviving day to day, trying to figure out where they're going to get their next house from, etc. Most of those women who do that, if you're talking about a woman who sees more to life than just a man and how much money he makes, that those are them type of women. Those
well,
women who are saying, listen, those are those women who are being looked over, because most of the time them same men who complain about them like, oh well, I gotta look like this in order for her to pick me. You are going to a broken woman to begin with,
hey, bro,
and you still get with her and then turn around and complain about her. So you do have those women.
well,
We got them
yeah,
type of women who ain't going off of body types. I've
I know.
been learned a long time ago. Drop your type, because that type shit ain't gonna get you nowhere. And I said,
Well,
show
see,
me
that's
who
you.
you are. I'm
That's you.
saying I
That's
understand that, but we keep
I know, but
reverting to
let
this
me.
one
I
side
know.
of the box.
I know, but you going one sided now. And
No,
here's the
I'm
thing.
not. I'm saying
Listen,
I
yeah, yeah.
expressed on
But
both
let me
points.
say let me comment on what you just said. You just made a statement, and you are right. But what I'm trying to tell you, that's not just the women that's acting like that. Women keep their feelings to themselves. When them women making money, they not finna accept anybody that come to them and approach them. They already have in their mind. They have a certain type in their head. Just because they don't say it, you got women want to be George looking type of dude. Okay, that's what they want. You know what I'm saying? They making that money. They feel like they deserve that. Just like men, when they got money, they want a woman with a nice physique, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Then they wonder why. Oh, she just taking my money. She don't care for me. She don't. Well, why do you think that? Because you're picking people off types. You're not picking the right people
That
to
and that's
make that
what I
make
said.
it be that
That's what
person or
I
make
said.
be that
Those
effective in your
men
life.
go
But
for that. That's what I
the
said in
thing
the
is,
beginning.
women can be they most women can be intimidating with that money, like I deserve this, I deserve that. It's not my fault that you've been down. So why treat me as such? I ain't have my foot on your neck, the system did. So why not take that money and say, hey, I'm willing to build with this man. Come with that mentality instead. I'm the boss bitch. I don't need a man for shit. But then turn around, I need a man. I want somebody to hold me at night. A lot of them at home and shit by themselves, lonely because of these fucking choices that they make. I'm not ready
Yeah,
yet. Oh, I
that's
got
fine.
options. You know what I'm saying? That shit should
But
never be
it's
like that. You
both
never take on
sides
the
of
role of a
that
man.
are
Steve,
like that.
to
That's what I
me,
was trying
Steve,
to say.
to, to me, Steve Harvey fucked a lot of our women up with that book,
Not
thinking
me,
like a
because I
man,
never
acting like a
think
woman.
anyway.
For
I'm
real,
just being real.
he fucked a lot of women up. Point
I didn't
blank.
even play into that. I didn't read that book.
I know,
I
but I'm
saw
not
those
talking about
tweets.
you.
I ain't read
It's
it.
more women in
Oh,
the
I
world
know.
than
I
you.
know. Where do you think he got it
And
from?
they are that was the switch. That was part of the switch. Because what they did when they thought like a man, they start getting money like the man. They start doing and being want to be the man. And when you want to submit, when you want to search for that power to be of authority, because a man about authority, who wants to argue with? I don't. If I want to lay in the bed with a man, I get a man. I don't want to lay in the bed with a woman, and I'm struggling with a masculine energy right here. I need my woman because I deal with society. I deal with the shit that as being black man who I am, and I want to come home and go to war with my wife who's acting masculine because she feels like she take on the same shit I do. It shit don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Who's the
Agreed.
soft role? A woman is there to comfort and be there just like the man when
I
he's
get
comfort.
all that with the gender role thing, but I'm saying
Okay, well
on the
let's look at it from
financial
this.
aspect, it's almost like it sounds like to me that
No, okay, well
no, no,
let's
I'm saying,
look at
it
I
sounds
got one
like to me
analogy. I got one analogy. Let's look at animals. Do you ever see the lioness trying to take the role of the lion? No. Do you ever see a male giraffe, a female giraffe taking the role of the male giraffe? No. Do you ever see any of them in that they're stepping outside of their position? No. They remain in a position and the kingdom is ran properly. It's nothing wrong with that. What happened, society has made our women feel like that they were less. Not us, but society has. The system has. And it has us going against each other right now. The John Lynch effect.
Okay, and why I said, who is to blame? Are we gonna keep blaming white man while we're fucked up? If we know this is where it comes from, that's where we have the choice to say, I no longer participate. If you keep on participating, then you cannot complain. So if they know where it comes from, if everybody's saying, well, we know where it comes from, we know where it comes from, white man did it to us. Okay, after a while, you got to stop picking up the goddamn controller and put it down. If you want to keep playing, don't complain because they already put the plan out there. They're no longer executing the plan. We are. So that's where we got to come in and think about that. It's got to get to a point where we have to take accountability for our shit too and stop blaming it strictly on them. Because again, it goes back to that same post we've seen, right? We've seen the same thing where they show us kneel down and they got this Monopoly board on our back. And it said, all we have to do is stand up. Nobody's done that yet. Right? So if that's the case, then we got to figure that out. I know, Jasmine, you're like, what?
I was just kind of sitting
I
here.
like.
I mean, okay, y'all both made some really great points. And I see both sides of it. I see exactly what Carlos is saying. I also see what you're saying too. Like at some point, and I used to say this about certain like smaller scale situations, like at some point you really have to stop using certain things as an excuse and be like, okay, when am I going to do something different? Especially when you know where it's coming from. Okay, so this is the cause of this situation. Okay, so that means I gotta do something different. I gotta go right instead of go left this time. Or I gotta go up instead of down, or whatever the situation may be. So I see both of y'all. I see how this is working here. But Ron, was you about to say something?
No, I was gonna say, basically you just took the words out of my mouth, Jazz. That was a great point you made. Y'all both, I love the intensity. Um, I feel like I'm one of those people too. I'm so tired of the narrative of what the white people are doing because what a lot of it, the work has been done, and it's like, what are we going to do about it? I don't think, I'm not even saying it's a doing. It's not even as many of them doing as it was. What are we going to do? When are we going to stop murdering each other in the streets and pulling each other down? That whole crab in the barrel effect. When are we going to stop doing that? When am I going to stop walking away from my children? When am I going to stop beating my wife? When am I going to stop disrespecting my daughters and my mother and my sisters and my brothers? And I'm saying me, not that I'm doing that, but I'm saying as a unit. When do you ask yourself those questions? When is it that all, when we say Black Lives Matter, when is it going to matter other than just a white cop or a white person doing it? Why are we not marching when Pookie shot Ray Ray? Why is it, the same effect, not the same thing when that little girl's raped by her uncle or her father or whomever, or was neglected and them children were left in the house and mom was on drugs or dad was on drugs? Those lives should matter still then too. And so that's why I don't get behind a lot of the whole, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And I don't care what people think about it because that's just how I am. Because all of us are on this podcast, and you two have had a heated discussion, but that don't mean next time I see you, it's on site. Y'all ain't say that because it's a nice discussion. It's passionate, and it's what you care about. And there's nothing wrong with disagreeing. That don't mean you got to kill somebody because you disagree. And I use this as an example. Neither one of y'all called each other out each other's name. You know what I'm saying? You both had a point to prove, and even with y'all being sisters, Jackson jump in and say, "Oh no, you don't talk to my sister." Like, you see what I'm saying?
The stuff that we see echoed in the community, and then when something pops off, we always go to, well, this is what they did to us, our ancestors as slaves, our ancestors. Your grandma and grandpa didn't teach you to go out and shoot Pookie or Ray Ray or call each other a bitch or, sleep with each other. You get what I'm saying? Your grandma and your grandpa didn't teach you that. Society is teaching things and we're just going with what's trending. But see, that's why it goes back to those nuances I was talking about. You have to be a certain, you're not, if you ain't woke as a black person, then you mess with the white people. You was Uncle Tom and you just that and the third. And we call people Uncle Tom. And actually Tom, the slave that the name came from, was the guy that wouldn't whoop women slaves or beat slaves. You see what I'm saying? So there's other things, and we just run with stuff. We run with things and don't even verify or confirm whether the truth or the validity of the situation. And so I say all that to say this. We go back to this whole situation with women earning and doing things. I think one of the things is everybody's personal situation. A lot of men are upset that women make more money than them because they put themselves in the situation, like you all said before, the boys, the ones that want to sit at home and play the game. I have a game, but I'm at work more than anything. The game sits. I told Jazz I bought that game and maybe, played it 3 times. Not that there's something wrong, but it's just I ain't there no more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, when I want to, whatever. But when your whole focus is about your priorities, it's about what is your focus. Like you said, what are we doing? Where are you going to be in 3 years? A lot of women don't give a damn because the dick is good, because the image looks good. He's a thug. He got the braids or he got the dreads. He got the physique. He's a dope boy. That's cool. Let's be real. That's what it is. And because of the image of it, it looks so good in your 20s and your early 30s for y'all that you just do whatever. I'm not saying all of y'all. I'm not saying all of you, because there's women, like you said, some women ain't like that. You like, what's up? You okay? That's cool. You working though. But what you trying to work towards? That's cool. That's how the mindset should be. But then you have men, once it, like I said earlier, you get to the point where you done been ran through by the thugs and the homeboys on the block. And now you realize, okay, these kids need a good example because he ain't it. Now I really need some stability in my life. I'm tired of doing everything. Now somebody that has a job that's working. Like Carl said, he used to be in the street. I used to run the streets too. But we're overlooked. Even by the women that are with us or love us or like us or that married us, we're overlooked because we work. And I remember when I was married, I was cheating and doing all this other stuff. And then when I stopped, she was like, it's weird having all your attention. Can you go find something to do? So I go back out and do it. You see what I'm saying? So again,
Used to that
it,
because that's not what you showed her. So yeah, it was difficult to adapt to the change that she wanted up
see what
front.
I'm
Now, if it would have happened and stopped abruptly, and it wouldn't have been an issue. But after a long periodic time of you seeing a cycle and a new cycle tries to come in, that is different. And that's the
right.
thing, is that's why I said type don't matter in a relationship to me of the physical sense, because again, like for instance, this scar on my face hasn't always been here. Shit can happen in a blink of an eye. So if I'm only attracted to the physical appearance, I'm going to be disappointed. If we get married, let's say we're 21, we get married now, and then you go get fat on me when we're 30. Am I going to divorce you because of that? If I'm only attracted to physical, that's what's going to happen. So I don't look at it
Right.
that I'm trying to get in here. This is what matters to me. This is what matters to me. Where your mind is, where you want to go, where you trying to take me, because I ain't going blindly. So I'm going to ask you up front, what do you want? Okay, I hear you. Now, what is your plan of action to fucking attain it? Because if you say you don't know to the first two, that is already a signal we ain't going to work, because I want shit and you don't. And that's fine if you don't. That's your life, that's your choice. But you can't be in my life because I'm on building some shit. I don't come from shit, but I want to leave here with shit. And I'm not talking materialistic. I mean, my name needs to goddamn have something attached to it that I can leave for the young ones underneath me. You see what I'm saying? So they don't gotta go out here and ask the government, hey, I need a student loan so I can fucking get an education. So that's a sacrifice. Generational wealth is sacrificing. The last generation sacrifices so this generation didn't have to beg for it. That's where the black people went wrong is we didn't have it. Our grandparents didn't teach us that. So when we got older, we got to go into the world learning as we're getting the ass whoopings. It's kicking our ass for us to learn what credit is, why you need to have some sense up here and not just street sense, why you need to save, why it matters that you have knowledge of what the fuck the white people are doing so you can get a better life. We have to learn this now. So we are kind of fucked up and we're digging our way out of it.
Well, one thing I want to say too to that effect is just it was illegal for our grandparents to even own property up until the late 60s, early 70s. So they didn't really know nothing about credit. Why? Because nobody was allowed to get credit. It was illegal for our grandparents to have it. So that's why most of us lived in projects, even the war veterans. They came back and they were put into the projects. And so, my people came from the, Poindexter here in Columbus. Like, that was the original project. Like, our people came from that. My uncle was a war vet. That's where he came home to. Why? Because he could not get a home. The VA loan, yeah, for white people, blacks weren't allowed to get it. So a lot of them, that's why I say, like, it's messed up because a lot of our grandparents, I mean, just, you think that's just 2 generations ago. They didn't, you know what I'm saying? Our parents were probably born in the 60s. You see what I'm saying? So our mom and dad probably didn't, my dad was born in the 60s, my mom born in the 70s. Like, they didn't do it. Now, don't get me wrong, my dad's parents owned property. They owned a house. My mom's dad did as well. My mom's dad owned several properties before he passed. But like, that whole emphasis, as you said, it was not. Now, Grandpa did mention some stuff about your retirement. He was retired from the school district here. He had property. He talked about that. Supplemental retirement. He talked about those things. But again, a lot of times, like you said, most of us learn as we go. Not bumping our head, but busting our head wide the hell open. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, damn, all right, it took me 7 years. It might have took 7 years for it to fall off or for you to even get out the hole. But I say all that to say, I respect what you're doing. I love what you said about that sacrifice for this generation because we know now. We know now. Our grandparents didn't know a lot of shit, so they couldn't pass that on. But now that we know, they stay away from white people. There's white people that's shady. I don't believe all of them, as many of them are shady as they were. But it's a lot of us that's shady as fuck, and you can't trust us. So if you're gonna do that, you have to have the moniker. You can't trust everybody, And I don't want to have. I mean, I used to watch wrestling when I was a teenager, and Stone Cold used to say, "Don't trust anybody." DTA. I don't want to walk around paranoid as fuck thinking I can't trust nobody. I don't want to think I can't trust y'all on this podcast and we being, this is intimate. This is in confidence. We're speaking. We're putting this to the world. I don't want to feel like I can't trust people. But unfortunately, a lot of people from our community have that. Why? Because we were taught to hate each other. Yes. But then, as I said, even if you take out of the Jim Crow law, the Willie Lynch letter and all of that other racist.
The Willie Lynch. That's what I was saying, Willie Lynch. Yeah, my video went out. I said John Lynch, but it's Willie Lynch.
Right, it's Willie Lynch. Now, what it is?
That was a part of that men versus women. And when I read it, the new Jim Crow laws that was about mass incarceration of the black man. But the Willie Lynch letter definitely brought division. It has us where we at now. And my point is for our women, when they're taking that role, it's nothing wrong with it. I don't have a problem with it, didn't ever have. But when I look at the bigger picture, I see our women being put in front again where they can be harmed because men, we represent protection. We represent that. And when we're in the forefront, people would think differently how they will approach our women. But when our women are out in the front and the men in the back, what happens that it makes them easier to be attacked. And it goes back to Genesis 3:16. Eve was alone. You know what I'm saying? So she got attacked by the serpent, basically was beguiled. The man wasn't there, but when the man was there, her protector was there. And a lot of our women that are out there, they're unprotected right now. I mean, if something goes wrong, okay, I'm gonna use this analogy and I'm gonna leave it at that. Right now, you see a woman that, by herself. Is that person that see that woman there, will he feel that he can enter that place or enter that car, easier with just her? Or if he see a man's present, would he think twice? You know what I'm saying? And that's what's going on. It's like it's taken away from the person. You know what I'm saying? And my deal is that, you know, the whole point to it all is that it's just all balance. I mean, it shouldn't be, oh, more over here, more over there. We have to stop fighting and struggle. It's all a power struggle, and I don't want no parts of it. We're jumping in a system that was already created for a certain group of people. We want everything that they have, and that shit has fucked our people up mentally because they have played a rat race game of us trying to play catch up with them. They just started releasing all the credit information, the secrecy to this, the secrecy to that. Who controls credit? Why in the hell we need 3 different credit bureaus to give us a decision? Like, you got to look at all the fucking benefactors around this shit. This shit bigger than us. It's a system that is designed against us, and it's not an
What
individual.
I'm saying, you have to
It's
figure.
not an
That's why we
individual. It's a
have to
system.
stop looking at being mad at them, and we have to do something different because there's
What
no
can we do?
other way around it. That's it.
Let's
But
be.
unfortunately, y'all, we did kind of reach the end of this stream tonight, so we have to wrap on here again. I hope y'all got some good information out of this because we kind of got a little debating up in there. That was a little going on, but it's cool. But
Yeah.
y'all, let us know what you thought about this in the comments because I definitely want to hear more from the women's side and I want to hear more from the male side as well. Do you agree with anything that was spoken in this podcast tonight, or just give us your thoughts? Again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, y'all be safe, and we will see you later.